Hi guys, it's Dorothea from Croby Pattern Designs. Hi guys, hope you're having an amazing day. I'm back with a new pattern that I would like to share with you. Today we are going to create a baby blanket. It's super easy, beginner friendly crochet pattern. I will show you how to do double crochet stitch, how to chain, how to create a foundation chain, how to work in rows, and how to switch from one color to another. The blanket can be easily adjustable for bigger sizes too, and I will show you how to do that as well. So without further ado, let me show you what you will need for this tutorial. For this project I'm using 100% cotton Aran weight yarn in 4 colors. I'm using beige, yellow, orange and red. You can choose any color you like. You can even create your blanket in one color only. But it's very important that you're using the correct yarn weight and crochet hook. If you would like to learn more about yarn, the link is in the description box down below. With the 100% cotton Aran weight yarn, I'm using 4mm crochet hook. If you are using different yarn weight, choose the correct crochet hook. Make sure your stitches are not too tight or too loose. You will also need scissors to cut all the ends, yarn needle, stitch markers to mark your important stitches. I usually mark my first stitch in the row, and a measuring tape to measure your blanket. I will show you all the necessary steps that you have to know to finish this blanket. It's in 4 colors: beige, yellow, orange and red. Beige, yellow and orange parts are the same size. The red part is a bit smaller than other 3. I've made only 3 rows of red, as you can see here, and 13 rows of other 3 colors. My blanket is 52 centimeters and around 20 inches long, and 45 centimeters or around 18 inches wide. I will start with the beige yarn. Take the yarn and make a knot. Cross your yarn like this, then go with your yarn on the back of your loop and pull the yarn through. Place the hook into the loop and pull the ends of your yarn. Make sure the loop on the hook is not too tight. The hook has to travel up and down smoothly. There is a correct way to use a crochet hook. Go with your hook underneath the yarn and a knot from the top. Now we will create a foundation chain. Because I will be crocheting a little sample here just to show you all the important steps, I will not be creating so many stitches, chains and rows as I would if I would do a real blanket. Grab the yarn with your hook and pull it through the loop on your hook. Congratulations! You've created your first chain. 79 to go. Let's do it again. Grab the yarn, pull it through, and here is your second chain. We call this first chain a foundation chain. Then we will work in rows. This means that we will turn our work after each row. The foundation chain in the pattern does not count as the first row. It's just foundation chain. You will need 80 chains to create the foundation chain for our baby blanket and 2 additional chains to leave the row. The length of your foundation chain is actually how wide your blanket will be. So if you would like to make it bigger, add a few chains to your foundation chain. Please do not forget on 2 additional stitches to lift the row. I will fast forward this part and let's meet back at the end of the foundation chain. Make 2 additional chains to lift the row. And here you have it, your foundation chain. Now we will create our first row. This is our first one, second one, and this is our third chain. We will go under the yarn first. We call this part yarn over. Place the hook into the third chain from our hook. Insert the hook, grab the yarn on the other side and pull it through. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Grab the yarn and pull the yarn through first 2 loops. grab the yarn again and pull it through 2 loops again. We call this stitch double crochet stitch. If you look at the top of the row or round, each stitch looks like a sideways V or little heart. Each V is made of 2 loops, the front loop and the back loop. If you hold your piece of crochet in front of you, with the little hearts or V shapes on top, the part of the heart closest to you is the front loop. The part of the heart farther away from you on the opposite side is the back loop. We will work into both loops here. Always place the marker into the first stitch. Let's try this one more time. Yarn over, insert the hook, grab the yarn on the other side, pull it through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, grab the yarn and pull the yarn through first 2 loops, grab the yarn again and pull it through 2 loops again. Continue crocheting 1 double crochet stitch into each chain until the end of your foundation chain. And here we are, 2 stitches before the end of our first row. Work 1 double crochet stitch into your last 2 chains. Now let's start with our second row. Work 2 chains to leave the row. Now insert the hook into the last stitch from the previous row, but be careful here not to start in one of your chains. To make sure you are starting your row in the correct stitch, you can take a stitch marker and before you create your 2 chains, mark your last stitch. Create 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch across. Make sure you have the same number of stitches at the end of each row. If your foundation chain was 80, if we do not count 2 additional chains to leave the row, your first row has to have 80 stitches and second one too, and so on and so on. Work 1 double crochet stitch into our last one. Now continue working in rows. You will need 11 more rows to finish your first color. With a little bit of video editing magic, we will meet back 1 stitch before you finish your row 13. Now let me show you how to change your yarn color. Remove the stitch marker. Begin the last stitch with the old yarn. Now grab the new yarn with your hook and pull it through the loops on your hook to complete the stitch. Now continue with your new yarn. Make a knot and prevent your blanket from tearing apart so easily. Chain 2, turn. Now start with the next row. Continue with this yarn to the end of row 26. This is your first row made of double crochet stitches with the yellow yarn. Hide the tails. Make sure you hide the ends between the stitches that are the same color as your ends. So if you would like to have the blanket in the same size as I have, you have to make 12 more rows with this color. Before you end row 26, change the yarn again. Continue crocheting to row 39 with the orange yarn. Before you finish the row 39, in your last stitch of the row, change the yarn to red. Create your last 3 rows of your blanket with the red color. Let me show you a few easy steps how to change the size of your blanket. My blanket has 42 rows. Each row has 80 stitches. If you would like to make your blanket bigger, add some additional stitches and rows to your blanket. For an example, let's calculate how many stitches and rows you need for the toddler size blanket. The measurements would be 100 centimeters, that is around 40 inches wide, and 150 centimeters, what is around 60 inches long. The question is, how many stitches do I need in one row and how many rows do I have to create? If I need 80 stitches for 45 centimeters, then I would need 177 stitches for 100 centimeters. How we get that is if we multiply the size of our new blanket with a number of stitches in one row of my blanket, and then we have to divide the number we get with the size of my blanket. The same thing is with the length. So if we made 42 rows for 52 centimeters, then we need 121 rows for 150 centimeters, so 60 inches long blanket. How we get that? First, multiply the length of our new blanket with a number of rows in my blanket. Then divide the number you get with the length of my blanket. And that's it. The number of rows you need for your new blanket. Okay guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye!